Like most YouTube channels, we often get to review some cutting-edge cream-of-the-crop devices, which I have to admit are fun to test and are surely fun to watch. And while those kinds of devices are popular, when you look at the sales charts, they are usually dominated by much cheaper devices, especially those that offer high value for money. Such devices are not often reviewed, so today we have decided to take a look at the monitor that costs under €200. It is the AOC 27G2U5, a model which is labeled as a gaming monitor, but we'd argue that it's actually quite universal, so beside gamers on a budget, it will be equally interesting for anyone looking for a monitor for work or entertainment without breaking the bank. This model comes with a 27-inch screen and some features we consider a pure bonus at this price range, which makes this monitor an interesting choice. The design is similar, well, almost identical to the AOC C27G2 which we recently tested, except this time the screen is flat instead of curved. Very thin bezels, with perhaps the thinnest additional margin yet, surround the panel on the top and sides, while the bottom bezel is slightly thicker, made of black plastic like most of the monitor, with burgundy metallic accents which can be found on the base of the stand and the back side of the monitor as well. Even though it has the same panel size as the curved model we mentioned, the AOC 27G2U5 is quite compact for a 27-inch monitor and leaves an impression of a tightly made product with nothing that would hint at it being cheap. The stand is fairly compact as well and does not take too much space on your desk, plus the hole near the base of the stand allows for neat cable management. As for the ergonomics, you can swivel the panel by 30 degrees left and right, tilt it by 3.5 degrees down and 21.5 degrees up, pivot by 90 degrees and adjust the height by 13 centimeters. On the bottom of the back of the monitor you can find one DisplayPort 1.2, two HDMI 1.4 connectors and a surprise, or a blast from the past, D-sub connector, which will perhaps be useful for those who have an old PC and wish to get a new monitor. There are also 3.5mm audio inputs and outputs, and the monitor is also equipped with 2x2 watt speakers, which will not impress anyone and will be used only if you really have no other choice. As we've seen on a curved AOC model, there's also a 4-port USB 3.0 hub placed at an angle, which you can use to connect USB devices or use the yellow port to charge your mobile phone. Perhaps the biggest complaint we have regarding this monitor is the menu control, which is done via 4 keys on the bottom of the front right of the panel. Not only because we dislike this kind of control, but because the keys are slightly receded and are weirdly shaped, so they are very hard to press, and we would spend more time trying to find the right spot than actually pressing, which is not good. This is something we have not encountered on any previous AOC monitors and hopefully will not on any future models. The menu itself is designed pretty standard for AOC, with sections marked by icons and a bunch of options in each section, which looks clean but is not the most practical solution. Good thing is that you usually won't be doing much adjustments after the initial setup, and few often used options are available directly by single key shortcuts. AOC 27G2U5 is equipped with a 27-inch IPS panel with a Full HD resolution and a matte surface which significantly reduces reflections. A standard IPS glow problem is present, but not so much that it would be annoying. The monitor also has a refresh rate of 75Hz, which, although not that much more than the regular 60Hz, is certainly a welcome feature, especially considering the price. Perhaps the biggest advantage of this is that it allows for a wider refresh rate range, so you can use FreeSync or G-Sync from 48 up to 75Hz, which gives graphics cards some flexibility. As long as your FPS is within this range, the display will be smooth and fluid, so you should adjust your graphics settings to keep the frames per second within this range. Speaking of gaming, since this is an IPS panel with not too high refresh rate, its response time is slower than on some more expensive gaming models, though still better than on some basic 60Hz monitors. The menu allows you to set the panel overdrive, though weak setting proved to be the best and improved the response slightly, while medium and strong exhibited a noticeable overshoot with no visible improvements. MBR option, which is AOC's backlight strobing implementation, is something we did not expect in this class, since this method of improving the response time usually causes visible flickering on panels with refresh rate under 90Hz. When you turn this option on, the response time is significantly better, very good even, but we're not sure how many users will find the flicker acceptable. If you happen to be among those, you could theoretically limit the FPS in games to 75, since MBR and variable refresh rate cannot be used at the same time, and enjoy a superb response time for such an affordable monitor. Speaking of superb, we measured a very low input lag of just 8.7 milliseconds. There are a few useful gaming options in the menu, such as shadow control and game color, which improve the appearance for gaming, predefined profiles for different game genres, frame counter which displays current refresh rate or frame rate if you're using a variable mode, and a crosshair display which you can activate via key. As for the picture quality, Full HD resolution on 27 inches is close to being low, but we do think that on a monitor at this price it is the right choice. What we certainly did not expect on such an affordable monitor is color accuracy, which proved to be superb in multiple display modes, with the best delta E deviation of only 1.3, which is on a level we have previously seen only on a few professional models that cost above €1,000. When you add to that the excellent viewing angles of IPS, this monitor is probably the most affordable option for users that require an accurate display for professional use. Since the panel is 6 bits plus FRC, it covers about 71.3% of DCI-P3 gamut, but if you're doing your work in sRGB and Rec. 709 gamuts and standard dynamic range, it will do great. We also measure the contrast of 1140:1, which is also fairly good for an IPS monitor. Future owners of this model will want to know that the most accurate display is delivered when you set the color temp option to user and change nothing else. If you activate the MBR as well, the display will be darker but even more accurate with a lower maximum delta E. The monitor also offers a few HDR modes, but since the maximum brightness is 300 nits, they don't really make sense, and neither do the DCB and DCR options, which represent the dynamic color boost and dynamic contrast ratio, but don't really do much, if anything. Overall, considering the display accuracy, solid contrast and viewing angles, low input lag and slightly higher than usual refresh rate, along with other features, this is one of the best affordable monitors we've had a chance to try out, so it easily gets our recommendation in the form of our Value for Money award. We hope to get the chance to test more good models in this class and invite you to share your opinion on this model in the comment section below this video. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more interesting tech content. Keep watching Bench House, my name is Ivan and I'll see you next time.